Hong Kong's top court has ruled that the anti-mask law is constitutional, saying restrictions were proportionate, even though they infringed on certain freedoms. Pan-democratic figures who challenged the mask ban were disappointed, saying Hong Kong courts have come under pressure. Johanna Chan has more.
A 5-judge panel in the Court of Final Appeal unanimously ruled that the ban on masks at all protests and rallies is constitutional, even though it was enacted under colonial-era legislation. At the height of last year's anti-government protests, Chief Executive Carrie Lam invoked emergency powers to bypass the legislature and introduce the anti-mask law. In November last year, the High Court said the ban was unconstitutional. In April, however, the Court of Appeal said banning masks for approved rallies would be unconstitutional, but not for illegal protests. The top court's ruling ends a challenge by 25 former pan-democratic lawmakers, with Leung Kwok Hong voicing his disappointment.
Due to the criticism from the Standing Committee of the Legislative Affairs Commission of the People Congress of the PRC, I think the court in Hong Kong is very under immense pressure. So that's why we say that the judgment haven't done the justice for the Hong Kong people.
In its written judgment, the Court of Final Appeal said the Emergency Regulations Ordinance is constitutional, as it was not used for primary legislation, but for a law in times of public danger. It said the regulations under the ordinance must be prescribed by law and proportionate. The judgment further stated that the anti-mask law was proportionate, as freedom of assembly, speech, and privacy are not absolute rights and could be restricted for public safety and order. While the Court of Appeal ruled earlier that the mask ban is unconstitutional in peaceful assemblies, the city's highest court argued that peaceful assemblies could turn violent and preventive measures were needed. Hong Kong's top court noted that with concealed identities, mass protesters were emboldened and seemingly acted as they pleased. It said amid the violence, peaceful protesters were discouraged from joining demonstrations. Johanna Chan, HKIBC.